It just kicked a bunch of people out. Now it's gonna they have to start back over again.
Yeah, dude. No, the title.
There it goes. It's big. There's a new one up now. If you refresh.
All right. Oh, there it is.
Jerk. It was probably there before, and
It
Jose
was not. It
yes,
was not, dude.
Jose messed it up. All right.
Federal Overland is next week.
Oh, was it spelled wrong?
That's what I was telling you.
But it was there, just spelled wrong.
Yeah.
Oh well, I could have fixed that after the fact.
Jeez.
Okay. All right. This is what you're in for, dude. It's gonna be.
I appreciate the attention to detail for sure.
We have one job, dude.
I have 15 jobs. You guys have one job. All right, we're ready. We're gonna start this. 3, 2, 1. Hey everybody, it is 6:39, so we're less than 10 minutes late, which in our book is
It's not late.
It's a win.
It's a win. 6:39 on Tuesday night. We're live on YouTube as we are usually. We're already getting crap in the chat room from Adam because we had to restart the stream because Jose messed up. We are joined tonight by Jeff McPike from Veteran Overland. How are you doing tonight, man?
I'm great. Thank you guys. Appreciate the invite.
No, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. So we had a little bit of a pregame chat, a little bit. Veteran Overland, you can find them at veteranoverland.com, at Veteran Overland on Instagram, and they have a YouTube channel where you can search for Veteran Overland. So I'd been following the Veteran Overland page for a while, and then when I started my new job, one of my buddies at work is part of your group, and his name's Adam, and he's in the chat room, and I'm sure I'll hear about this later. But so Adam and I started talking about what you guys are doing, and I thought it would be a great opportunity to get you guys come on board. Right up front, I want to make it very clear, none of us are veterans. The United States military took one look at all of us and went, "No, we got it. You guys stay home. We got it covered." We would definitely be a detriment.
We don't want to have to worry about you.
Yeah, it's we'll
call you.
We're all filled up.
They saw my medical records and they went, no, our benefits aren't that good.
My brother's in the Army.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but
It counts.
okay.
Yeah, your brother.
Yeah. He's better than me.
My Casey and I, our dad was as a vet, so we have some experience there. But let's start with you. You guys are in the Pacific Northwest. Yes. Yep. See, come on, Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, but
Just
you're
nod
saying
and smile.
like you
Just
live
nod
up
and
there.
smile, and he'll move past that joke.
No, I got it. It's wet.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, see,
Yeah.
that was cool. See, everybody gets it. Everybody's cool. You guys are in the Pacific Northwest. Is that where you're originally from?
I'm not originally from here. No, I moved here 15 years ago from Florida. I was living in Florida when I moved here and bounced around a bunch before that. Was in California for a while and a couple other places throughout the military, Middle East, places like that. But I've been here for 15 years.
Wow. So how much of a, I mean, you could not be more diagonally across the United States from Florida to Oregon. So how's that transition been?
Well, I went from the Middle East to California to Florida, which is all hot and horrible, as you can imagine, or hot and good, depending upon who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And then got to the Pacific Northwest, and I was like, oh, this is great. Cool weather. I feel like I run hot anyway. I've loved it. I've loved the weather. No issues there. February through April is tough, but otherwise, love it here. So
yeah.
I've
only been up there a couple times, and every time I've gone up, it's the last time I was up there, I was making the joke, like in a 15-minute span in the parking lot at work, I experienced 7 seasons. I went from wanting to take my jacket off to freezing to rain, and it's in Southern California, you ask Google what the weather's going to be, and it's 74 and sunny. You can pretty much count on it being 74 and sunny for the remainder of the day.
Yep, all the time.
Yeah. Veteran Overland, so as the name implies, and you kind of touched on being in the Middle East. You served. How long did you serve for?
Yeah, I was 8 years in the Army. Part of that was reserve, part of that was active duty.
Okay.
But 8-year span, loved it. Loved every minute. Didn't want to get out.
And you were deployed overseas?
I spent 18 months in Iraq.
Oh, wow.
Yep, '03 to '04 in the initial push of Baghdad. It was an exciting time.
Yeah, one of my best friends growing up was there around that time, and we spent a lot of time sitting around talking about it when he got home. So that was as close as I got to it.
Was that deployment just the one single 18-month deployment?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's brutal,
Yeah,
dude.
it was. Yeah. But I got to be honest with you, '03, '04 was probably the best years of any years that anybody went over to Iraq, because when I was leaving is when all the IEDs were coming in, the insurgency got real bad. So I was kind of going out. We kind of had carte blanche in '03, '04. We sort of rolled through the streets, and we got shot at a lot, but it was regular warfare, where in '04 past, it just got real,
Yeah, the
those
IEDs,
guys,
the IEDs.
those folks.
I'd like to point out the difference in perspective, where someone says, '03, '04 is probably the best time you could go to war, and the four of us sitting here are like, no. There's no best time. There's no, '03, '04 was the best time to buy a house. It wasn't the best time to, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's fair.
In '03, I was graduating high school.
Oh,
so
dude.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, man. That sucks. Military, you said in the Army. Did you go in right out of high school, or was there a gap? Like, when did you actually join?
Yep, 17th birthday on the dot. That's as early as you can get in.
No kidding.
As early as you can get in is your 17th birthday. Yeah. My mom had to sign it away. She had to sign away that we hadn't heard from our dad in years and years and years, and I just had to get out of kind of where I was. So it was my junior in high school, and went to basic training between junior and senior year over the summer. Came back, went back to high school for senior, and then on my sort of right after senior year, went out and went to school.
I didn't know you could do that. I thought once you went into basic, you were just in. I didn't know that you could do that gap between.
I mean, this is 1998. I'm not that old, but I don't know if you can do that still. I assume you can. It was called OSIT or something like that.
That's pretty. That's a pretty amazing option, right? If you're committed and and you get that chance, as opposed to going into basic that summer and then getting your GED and then going right away. The opportunity to come back and finish school. That's a pretty cool opportunity. What was your MOS?
So I was nuclear, biological, chemical warfare.
What?
What I was, yeah.
So you're a mad scientist, is what I hear there.
Well, some of that is cool, some of that is not. There's a lot of cool in that, for sure.
Look, the name is cool enough. I would just use. I would have that. I would have a shirt that said, "I'm a nuclear biochemical physicist," or whatever that word was.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, but it's all warfare. It's not like chemistry necessarily. Like, I'm not the chemist. I'm the one that's like trying to figure out, if we get bombed by a nuclear bomb or a chemical bomb, like how to take care of people and clean it and
so
that type of stuff.
Cage in The Rock.
That's as close. That's as close as it gets. That is as close as it gets.
What a random ass reference, but good job, Jose.
No, it is. It is. I had to graduate school. I had to go through a VX and G nerve chamber, the only one in the world, which is in Fort Lewis, Missouri, which we call Fort Lost in the Woods, Missouri. But it's the only one, and all the other branches are coalition, Germany, everybody. They all fly into there to go through this VX and G nerve chamber, where it's so huge. There's helicopters and tanks inside this building. And they're walking around. These actual scientists are walking around, and you're in full hazmat gear, and they're walking around with the VX and G nerve, and you're like holding a dummy rifle, and they're like with a syringe and putting the VX on it, and it's right in front of you. And like, if you took your mask off, you would Nicolas Cage in a second, and you'd be like in big trouble. And
wow.
So, can you imagine me? I can't have a glass of water without the fear of spilling it. Can you?
I was going to say, like, if you go camping with me and we're sitting around the campfire,
you'll be immune to that VX gas.
Well, my tent becomes kind of a chamber of chemical reactions. And,
It is.
you know,
The
it's not
nuclear
very
chamber.
big. You can't get any helicopters in there or nothing, but it's dangerous.
Yeah, that would be that like if I was in the military, they're like, yeah, we want you to handle some of that stuff. I'd be like, look, dude, you don't know me. I will kill myself within 30 seconds.
They won't even let me turn on computers at work.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys want me to run this stuff.
That is
Yeah,
insane.
somebody threw up in their mask, and you could see the like throw up in their in the eye sockets, right?
Dude.
And because I mean, you're so claustrophobic. It is the worst time ever. And we were in there for 5 hours, something like that. And they took they like couldn't breathe, so they had to take their mask off. And there's all these like hidden doors everywhere, and they came running in, tackled this person, you know, took him out immediately. And what they said later, as they came back, they were like, they stripped me naked, put me on a table, and covered me with like poured bleach on me, like naked, like just like trying to get the VX off of them, I guess.
The full Michael Jackson treatment. That's harsh.
It's nuts. Yeah. Yeah. Not cool.
Like,
So
We never
Monsters,
saw
Inc.,
that
dude.
guy again, but they told us he was fine.
Can your skin even handle that? Like, it won't just melt off? I don't know.
yeah, I think what I'm trying to say
They told us
is
he's fine.
anybody who's young that wants to go in the military, don't pick this job. That's sort of what I'm trying to say. Like, don't do this.
Yes. I actually went when I was about 18, 19. I actually went to the recruiter, and I had a couple friends that were signing up at the time, and I wanted to be a pilot, and I was like, okay, I'm willing to do this. I want to be a helicopter pilot, but I wear glasses. And the guy was like, "Oh, you should be fine." I'm like, "Well, wait, what do you mean?" He's like, "As long as you get past the first test, you're fine." I'm like, "Well, what happens if I don't get past the first test?" He's like, "We'll find something for you to do."
Yeah, it's
I'm like, no, I don't.
Army, dude.
I'm like, if I can't fly, I'm gonna go home. And he's like, no. Once you sign up,
yeah,
we'll find something
yeah,
for you
we'll
to do.
find something.
I'm like, so I'm
Water
going in to be
purification.
I'm going in for a pilot, and I'm gonna be. No, I was all, no, I'm good, thanks, I appreciate that. So I ended up not doing that.
That's exactly what happened to my brother. And he had his private helicopter license, and he went in and signed up. They're like, "Oh yeah, no, we can do that. We'll make it happen." And then he got put in artillery, and then that was the end of the story.
Yeah,
So
that's.
Yep.
The guy was like, "Well, why don't you be a helicopter mechanic? Sometimes they fly." I'm like, "I'm not. I don't want to sometimes fly. I want to fly." So
he does have like a howitzer, like a tank or something. I'm gonna say it's like a tank howitzer.
I don't know.
It's like a tank with a giant
Howitzer?
gun on it. Yeah, and it has his name on the side, just like a pilot has.
right.
Captain whatever. So that's
Captain
pretty,
Underpants, right there.
Yeah, that's Sergeant.
Hey,
Sergeant
to be
Duty.
fair,
That's
they
pretty
give
cool.
you the opportunity. Whether you pass or fail, it's up to you.
Well, it's my eyes. I had this.
Yeah.
So the same buddy that I went in with, he signed up. He's going to do this. He did the whole thing. He got all the way down to induction, like the day where they're at the train station, and they're like, all right, does anybody have anything
Train
that
station, dude, it's not the
bus,
50s,
whatever
bro.
the bus they were going to get on. He was about to get on the transport to go to where he was, and he freaked out at last minute, went, I have asthma, I can't do this, and left.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so not everybody can do that. So when did you get out of the service?
I got out in 2006.
And you said prior to that you did some reserve work. You were in the reserve.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, exactly. So I was actually went in as a reservist, then went active duty, then went back to reserve, which is not normal. Nobody usually does that, but that's just how it worked out for me. So, yeah.
I remember when I was a kid, my dad was in the reserves, the National Guard, and it was like, 1 weekend a month or something like that. He was doing stuff, and then he would go to, we called it summer camp, and he would be gone for like 4 weeks or something, and he did that for, I don't know, the first several years of my life, up until long enough to where I could remember it. And then I remember going to the base where he was at, and I got to play in a tank and do all kinds of cool stuff. So 2006, you come out.
Yep.
Do you land?
Yep.
Do you land in Portland at that time, and that's where you set roots?
No, in 2006 I was in Florida, and the reason I went reserve is I wanted to retire. I wanted that second retirement. So I was trying to do the 20, and I was at 8. So it's like, and if I would have retired, I would have retired at 37. I'm 41 now, so I would have already retired, which is a little hard to to go through. But anyway,
That's what my buddy did. He went in at 18, 19, retired, fully retired at 40 with a pension, and then went into the private sector because he was in military intelligence and he's working in DC someplace. The guy, he's not hurting. He's not doing badly. But I mean, he went through a lot of shit to get there. Full disclosure, like he was deployed a couple times and he went back as a contractor and a bunch of stuff. But in the grand scheme of things, man, at 40, retired, working because he wants to, not because he has to.
Yeah, would have been nice, but whatever. Didn't happen. Anyway, my employer at the time, they're like, hey, we want to promote you. We want to promote you to like a director and all this cool stuff. I was like, great. And they're like, but we really need you to get out of the military because, it's kind of a high profile position. And if you got deployed again, it'd be bad for the company. By the way, this is illegal. Companies are not allowed to do this.
Oh, I was going to say, it didn't sound like it was something
that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear anything you said the last 5 minutes. What was that?
I won't. The company's no longer around. Is the only reason I'm able to say that.
All right.
Good. But honestly, it was kind of a side conversation. They were like, "Hey, we really want to promote you," and I was like, "I'll get out." Right? Like the reserves weren't paying my paycheck at that point, and I was like, "You guys want to do this great job? Like, no problem. I can get out. Let's." I had just my son was like 7 months old at the time, and I was like, "Yeah, I don't want to go back anyway." And I was slated for Afghanistan, which would have been awesome. I was like, cool, no problem. Like it wasn't a big deal. I was okay with it. Very illegal, but I was okay with it.
Yeah. Can you imagine? I mean, and that's the exact opposite of what,
That's not the PR you want.
Well, not only so one thing I will like my limited experience with the military, and so my dad was in Vietnam. He came back. The way the Vietnam veterans were treated was very different. And I remember, and I had like, when you're a kid and you got to do reports on historical events, I always picked Vietnam War and military and this, and I learned a lot about that stuff, had a lot of like very candid conversations with my dad about it. And I remember watching his reaction when they were throwing parades for people after Afghanistan and how that physically affected him. How many, 30 years later or whatever, whatever that was. Right. So, all of the things that the veterans from that generation went through to create the environment in which corporate America understands what they went through, what they're going through, values the skills that they learned, and then supports all of the things that they active and inactive military do. That scenario is exactly the opposite of what all of that work was done for. It seems insane to me as someone that's been a leader in a corporate organization to think like to even have the ability or the balls to have that conversation with someone. Like, if you're a military veteran and you've earned this position in the military and you're earning your position in the corporate America, those things go hand in hand, and you can't separate them. That seems crazy to me.
Yeah, it's not as friendly out there as you would think.
Yeah, I will say, I think that there is there's probably some lip service in corporate America, right? Without getting too detailed on it, I'm sure not everybody is on board at all times, and I think it's probably largely contingent on the political and philosophical positions of the people in power, and I hope that that's not the case. That veterans find good organizations that can support them and do the things that they need and grow them in their career if they so choose to do that. I'm assuming you said that company's no longer there, so I'm assuming you've moved on from that to something better.
Yes, for sure. Yeah. I work in corporate now, and I work for a Fortune 500 company, and actually founded their veteran resource group as well for that company, and ran that on and off a little bit for like 7 years. But I got that Fortune 500 company to give 12 weeks of leave for reservists. It was previously like 5. So, and honestly, my learnings in dealing with sort of civilians and corporate folks is, one, they all have this stipulation that all veterans have PTSD and they're dangerous. Not true. and two, that they actually just don't know. They don't know how to engage. They don't know how to interact. They don't know how to support. They want to, but they just don't. They're so busy, and that's not their fault. But they don't really know, and so that's where veterans get more support from nonprofits, which we'll get into that in a second,
Yep.
than they do the federal government, right? Which is sad on one side, but the other side, that we're drumming up this kind of support and energy behind veterans, and that is going through a lot of the organizations like Amazon, world-class veteran supporter organization. Starbucks actually kills it, believe it or not. They, like Starbucks, in their home office, they have a wall that has every single veteran's name.
Wow.
On this huge wall in Starbucks's.
But Starbucks early on was one of those organizations that said, even if you're a part-time employee, you're going to get benefits and leave. And those, like, they kind of set the precedent early on as a smaller company to be a company that supports people and gives back in ways like that. So I think I'm not as surprised from Starbucks. Amazon, that does surprise me.
Yeah. I mean, Amazon was one of the first and only to have a veteran-only landing page, military-only landing page, and veteran-only jobs. Oh, wow. And that's still there today. So there's like jobs that are just for veterans for Amazon. So wow. They do a good job. Yeah.
And going back to what you were talking about people not knowing how. I think that goes for a lot of I'm going to use the term minority groups, and I don't mean it in like ethnic minority, like a group that is a subset of the whole, where people want to engage and want to have the conversation and want to support, but they don't know how. They don't know what words to use. They feel like, and I'm putting this in, I've been in situations where I've wanted to get involved, but felt like, maybe I'm overstepping because I don't know what that experience is like. And I'm willing to say that, but I don't want to come in and say, and feel like I'm overstepping, right? So I think that one of the first things to do is have conversations like this to where people understand it's okay to say, I don't know what it's like to be a veteran, but I do want to support them, and what can I do? And just ask the question.
Yep. Yeah, it's called allyship is technically what it's called. And allyship means, and that goes for women, that goes for people of color, that goes for, LGBTQ. It's all the underprivileged, like folks, including veterans as well. It's called allyship. And there's two types of allyship. One is you say you're an ally, but don't do anything. You're dormant. And the other, which is helpful but not totally helpful, and then the other is you're an ally and you actually do something about it. So Adam, who you work with, he's a civilian. He volunteers on VO. He's actually on the leadership team. He's actually pretty up there in VO. He does all of our logos. He created the logo. He does all. Yeah. He works like this is all nights and weekends for us. And, Adam's a civilian. He's an ally, but he's not dormant, right? Mm-hmm. He's doing something. And so that's the difference. And all you got to do is jump in. Yeah. And the one thing we say at VO, and we're really trying to bridge the gap here, because we're 25% civilian on the volunteers who are like a part of the permanent volunteers. We're 25% civilian. We're 50% civilian and veterans when it comes to our board of directors. So we have civilians there. And then our total membership is probably closer to 40% civilians, 50% veterans. And the reason we push that is because, and we try to say this all the time, which is if veterans didn't have civilian supporters, we would be alone in talking to ourselves. Yeah. And that would not be good. We need, if you think about all the bills going to Congress and all the fighting that's happening, that's all civilians doing that on behalf of, veterans. Whoever is in charge of the VA up, in Washington, they're all civilians usually. So we need civilian supporters. And honestly, most of them, their dads were in, or their brother or their sister, they have some sort of connection. And it just draws them to, and when they come to us, they're saying, hey, I don't know how to engage, but I want to. We welcome civilians with open arms. Yeah. And honestly, around the fire, you don't know who is and who isn't, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, when we're out on the trail, Nobody knows who's a civilian and who's a vet. We're all together, and honestly, I think the civilians love that sort of brother sisterhood that we create on the trail as much as the vets do.
And I think you kind of touched on the fact that if it was just nothing but veterans, you'd be in this bubble, right, in the circle. And I think that the civilian population that interacts will have the knock-on effect of, as they go out into the civilian world and they have those conversations and they talk about this group that they go hang out with and all these things, it changes the perception, because you had made the comment earlier about how it's really easy for people to sit back and go, oh, he's a veteran, that means X, Y, and Z. Whether that's the case or not, they don't know, and they don't have any experience to really recognize that. So going into the group, and first of all, Adam is a rock star. I can tell you that right now. The work he does is amazing. Going into that, so let's talk about the Veteran Overland as a group. It's a nonprofit. If you go to veteranoverland.org, you can meet the team. You can go through there. I want to talk about the team because you have an amazing assembly of people. But when did Veteran Overland start, and why?
Yeah. So I'll go back to a little bit before, we kind of founded it or came up with it. I just wanted to do something as a hobby that was not the local softball team. Like, local softball team doesn't do it for me. I need a little bit, something a little more fast paced. And being in the military, so I was doing rucking for a while, which is really just hiking with a heavy pack and boots, right? I was doing that for a while to try to get this simulation of what I loved for the military, but all the things I loved from being in the military, and none of the things I didn't. And anybody who is a vet needs this. It's like this draw that we have to this larger thing that we were a part of, with this awesome training, like unlimited budget. I mean, this being in the military is this crazy feeling. And then you get dumped out into the civilian world, and it can be tough. I mean, not only trying to get a job is obviously difficult, but just trying to find yourself and your center and trying to figure that out. So anyways, bought an old Land Cruiser, and, call it one, I love to camp. So that was part of it. Call it I need a vehicle that I would feel good if the end of the world came. Okay. Start there, I guess, which is bolt things to the side of it. Want to go out for longer periods of time. So bolt other things, not too much, but whatever. Right. And when I was in Iraq, I was in a gun truck 100% of the time. So I was out for 15 hours a day, upwards of 15 days in a Humvee. And I had to pack water, ammo, all my gear, everything, medical supplies, food, everything onto that vehicle. And that is all I had for 15 days. Now, we found resupplies here and there or whatever, but so that is overlanding 101, but over in the desert. And if you do run out of stuff, you'll die. Kind of how they do in Australia a little bit.
See, we would have, I would have been like, all right, guys, we gotta go back. I've been out here long enough. I'm good. There's got to be a Walmart or a 7-Eleven.
I've left because I couldn't get my CPAP to work. So
that's right.
Trips over for me.
We've never been shot at while we were overlanding.
We had a weekend.
Either.
It was cold, and Matt's CPAP machine wasn't working. He went, F it, I'm going home.
My battery pack died.
That's the level of commitment we have right now. Okay, so that you guys all aware that we suck. Okay. So, overlanding 101 in the desert.
Because I have a CPAP requirement.
With, so many other reasons. Overlanding 101, Humvee, fully loaded, projectiles flying by you at times.
We were just talking about supporting minorities earlier, and here you are wrecking on
which minority group do you...
the kind that's this lack of sleep minorities.
Dude, that's every adult that's ever been.
I need a machine that puts me to sleep, okay?
Hey, I camp very comfortable now when I'm out, so don't worry. There's cream in my coffee, and there's a heater if it's cold. I'm not out there hardcore anymore. Don't worry. Heater buddy comes all the time. I got an electric blanket. Come on, we're good now.
Can you imagine going back to your gun truck now? If you had to do it all over again, you'd be like, no way.
Sweet. Right? I mean, it'd be sweet. I would love to, but not every day.
One time. He'd rather just mount a 50 cal to the back of his Land Cruiser, and that way he's got all the comforts and all of the weaponry that he needs.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what year was that you bought the Land Cruiser and really started getting into the camping and the overlanding?
That had to have been like 2017,
Okay.
something like that, 16 or 17, maybe something like that. And no, I'm sorry, 15, 2015 or 14. I don't know.
So one of those
But
years, somewhere between
one of those
2013
years,
and 2018.
yeah. But founded VO in 16.
Okay.
So obviously it was a couple years before 16. So sorry about that. But yeah, so founded VO in 2016, and really we started going to events, rigs and coffees, or whatever it is, and we just noticed that there was a ton of vets kind of in the Overland community, but but veterans don't reach out to each other. We don't pick up the call. We don't ask each other for vets. Like sometimes you can see someone's a vet, you don't go up and start talking. Like veterans are one, we do not ask for help ever. That's number one, that we'd never do. And number two is we don't reach out to each other. So we were like, I was like, I think I could bridge that gap, and I think we could create something that brings vets together, because connection is powerful, and it's one of our pillars. Like, we know that connection to other vets or connections to other people is way more, in a lot of cases, is way more powerful than like therapy or prescription drugs, is what we say. And it's true. And we've proven it year over year since we've been around.
So that not asking and not telling people that you're a vet, when does that stop? Because right about the age of, 60 something, my dad put that Vietnam veteran hat on, and it has not come off. It has not come off his head the last 17 years. Like, it's, it's pretty cool, because like people, they'll say something to him when we're out or whatever, it's one of those things. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it seems like it's like there's this, in the overland, the off-road, the outdoor camping, the hunting, fishing community, there's a huge contingency of veterans. And I think it goes back to what you were saying about the hunt for that lifestyle, that, reconnecting with what it was some of the things that you loved about being in the military. So 2016, you found VO. Was it just you, or how many members of the team were there, or what was the genesis of the organization?
Yeah, so I started it, and it was just kind of me by myself. I created the Facebook page and a Gmail, and I researched to see if it was available. Went on like LegalZoom.com and created a LLCC to start. I just did this all kind of by myself, and then the co-founder. So I'm the founder. The co-founder, who's Will Hardison. He's a vet too. He was in Afghanistan. He also had an 80 series Land Cruiser as well, and we were kind of buddies. And he was outfitting it. I was like, hey, I came up with this thing. I think it's cool. I don't know what it is. I small ambitions at the time. Thought it would just be some sort of hangout or something. And he's like, I want in. I want a part of it. I was like, okay, you can be part of it. He's like, no, I want to co-lead this thing. I want to be a bigger part. And I was like, cool. I was like, I get 51% decision rates though. He's like, all right, fine. Just kidding. But so Will came on real quick, and I think that was probably the first time that I sort of realized how powerful this is to vets. When he came over to my house and he sat down, he's like, I'm pushing my way into this. You let me know what I got to do, but I want in on it. And so he's a co-founder. Has been in it since basically day two. He's been a part of it. And so he and I ran it probably for the first year, I would say. We went up had our first booth at Northwest Overland Rally in June of 17, I guess, was our first booth. We had like one of those blue easy ups, and like a little table or whatever, and our wives like decorated the booth for us. We were total amateurs. We've been doing
this for like 8 years. We still look just like that.
Fair enough. And it was cool because everybody kept coming up to the booth. And by the way, Ray from Northwest Overland Rally, he's like, free booth for you guys. Like, you don't pay a thing. Awesome. Come on up. Yeah, which is great. That's and he has every year since.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But everybody was coming up and they're like, what are you guys selling? They're like, we got a couple t-shirts, but really we're not selling anything. We're here to promote, this connection and that sort of thing. And everybody's confused why we were a vendor and not really selling anything. But since then, it like totally took off. I mean, we have to throttle it back, to be honest with you, like, because we're part-time and weekends.
Yeah.
I mean, there are chapters wanted, like, Southern California is our second largest population of members. East Coast is huge. Texas is big, and everybody wants these chapters and this thing, but we just, we can't totally make that happen right now. We are starting for Veterans Day. We're going to have an East Coast event, our very first one.
Oh, cool.
This upcoming Veterans Day. So it's, but again, it's just like, we can't keep up with the demand, which I guess is a good problem. But it's all volunteer force, so it can get a little sticky.
Yeah, and your volunteer force, when you go to the teams page, it looks like you've got a whole group of people involved, and I would imagine that trying to provide the services and the social media and the events and the things that you do, it's a huge team effort trying to get this rolling, right?
Yeah, it does. And last year was our busiest year. We probably went a little too hard last year. We paid for fully funded a vet to go to Baja for 2 weeks with us, which was epic and awesome. We flew in a bunch of other vets from around the country to come in, and we took them on sort of overland trips with us. And we partnered with Soul River, who's another nonprofit in Portland, and went and took a bunch of underprivileged youth from the east side of Portland out for a 2-day overlanding. So anyways, and taught a bunch of classes, CPR certified and first aid certified, all of the youth that went. And then we have our muster, which we'll talk about in a second, which is our largest event. We do a camp out every Veterans Day. We do a toy drive every December with Vagabond Brewing, who's a Marine Corps ran and owned and operated brewery in Salem. So yeah, it's a lot. We go, and the whole team, this whole volunteer team, and I'm the one throttling us usually. I'm like, hey, we need to protect the human capital, because human capital's, where we're struggling a little bit, which is really just enough humans to pull this thing off. I pull us back, and the team is like, no, we got to do as much as we can. We cannot, we cannot pull back. We have to keep doing. And I throw them back a little bit because we exhausted ourselves last year. And again, we're building like almost the same amount of events this year. But anyway.
Well, yeah, and you talked about this being volunteer and nights and weekends and stuff. You guys still have families, you still have regular jobs, you still have all of the things that go into the day-to-day life. And I read something recently that was talking about it was about fatherhood, but I think it applies here. Whereas doing things for yourself as a father is not selfish. Because if your cup runs dry, you don't have enough to fill somebody else's cup. You've always got to make sure that you do the things for your own sanity, for your recharging, for your family, for your thing. If you give too much, eventually you burn out and you can't do anything for anybody. So I think that there's a big factor in that, the human capital that you're talking about, being able to make sure that, a check-in to make sure everybody's good, everybody has some more gas in the tank. Do we need to pull in some additional help? And that's a very commendable approach as a leader for this type of organization.
Yeah, and our board of directors, we update them quarterly and tell them what we're doing. They throttle us a little bit too. We pitch to them what's going on and what's happening with us, and they are the ones that told us. And I'm on the board as well, but the board's pretty powerful board, and C-level suite folks and presidents of companies within Portland. So it's a pretty heavy handed board, but they're sort of saying, hey, no chapters right now, not until you either have the volunteers to do that and the money to expand it, and you can have the oversight, so they pull us back a little bit too, to make sure we don't kind of burn ourselves out. So it's a good group. Yeah.
Is that so to me, it seems like there's enough interest and membership to be able to drive chapters. Is that something that you think will happen in the future when the organization is ready for it, or is that still something you're not sure that you want to do?
I think it will happen. I do think it will happen. That's probably the number one question we get asked. We probably get asked for that, I don't know, once a week or once every other week for a chapter. So it is the largest request. And, we have this little membership that we do. We don't advertise it, but we do have membership. And the membership's around the world. I mean, we have members around the world, veterans around the world, Canada, Australia, everywhere, Europe. So, they all want something to happen. There's somebody in Australia who's like, I will set up this chapter today. I will figure it out, but it's hard to do those chapters, and especially with a nonprofit where you're trying to protect not only what we stand for, but make sure these events go the way that we want them to. Everybody feels welcomed. These are family-friendly events, and so we make sure that comes across that way. Although the veteran fire later in the evening is PG-13, but
sounds a lot like our events.
No, ours is
although
it's a hard
it's
R.
NC-17 at the campfire. But I can imagine
that was going to be my question: is can you describe like these events? Like, what are the what's the is there an itinerary? Do you guys go out for multiple days? I don't know.
Yeah, sure. So we have like four like capstone events. The first one in the year is always our Cold Hearts Run. It's right around Valentine's Day, so that's why I call it Cold Hearts Run. But that is a one-nighter snow run. So we go deep snow, and it's a kind of a beginner for us. So we teach sort of how to drive in deep snow, and then also kind of we help folks camp. So how to camp, how to spend an overnight in deep snow.
See, we have a motto here. What's the motto, guys? If there's snow on the ground,
turn around.
Turn
That's
around.
your guys' motto. I've never followed that.
And camping in snow sounds like great. You don't have to. I don't think you have to.
Jose, let's go camping in the snow.
Yeah, I'm all in, dude. I don't know why these guys are afraid of some snow. But.
Okay, and then like other trips, or what are the other?
Yeah, so there's that one, and then obviously there's Memorial Day Muster, which is our 4-day event over Memorial Day. Definitely want to go into a little detail on that because that one's coming up, and we're trying to promote that one a little bit right now and get that one out. Yeah, so that one is a mini Overland rally. So if you've been to Northwest Overland Rally or not totally Expo, but a couple of these other rallies, it's really the only veteran and veteran supporter Overland rally, period. It's the only one. So it is an Overland rally. And so we bring vendors out. And we cap it at 100 rigs, so it's capped. So we want to make sure we have kind of
that's a lot of rigs, man.
It's a lot. And we run classes, like it's all a bunch of classes. All the classes are donated. So Backroads, four-wheel drive, they're both one of 100 people certified in the world to give this training. The training is usually like $4,000 a person. They do an 8-hour training session. They go out on all our trail runs and do the training, and they donate all of their time to that. So really like intense vehicle recovery training. We have a medic that comes out. He teaches first aid classes, but applies it to overlanding. We have a ham class. So all these, trail repair, like tire repair. Wonderless Overland does the trail repair stuff. And the vendors can set up booths, and the booth is free for a vendor. However, they have to do something special for the attendees, and it has to be kind of big. So not only do they have to give a raffle item for the raffle fire, but they have to provide some sort of special experience, whether it's teaching a class of some sort, of some substance. They all need to give some sort of pretty major veteran discount in their booth if they're selling anything, so Mule is coming, and they are bringing 2 cakes. So they're doing the happy hour as an example. And then Wonderlust is doing mimosas and tire repair, and Sunday morning. Those are
the classes that I would probably sign up for.
I was just going to say the only thing we could bring is alcohol, and Matt's like, that's...
You know what? When we did the Mojave Trail...
I love mimosas.
Yeah, we did the Mojave Trail this past Memorial weekend. And we had 2 flats, and I just stood there and I watched people repair tires, and I was drinking beer. It was great. Yep. I learned a lot.
Yep. So this year we're doing yoga one morning, and some other sort of movement the next morning. We do a military movie night, so we project some sort of military movie. in 2019. I don't know what
It does
was, but
Does Predator qualify
Predator.
as a military
Yes,
movie?
Predator does qualify.
I don't think it would. We do take votes, but I don't think that would.
It's like the four of us all were like, yeah, heck yeah.
Yeah.
You're all like, no, guys,
No.
that's not military. Come on.
Yeah. So, we cater in one of the meals. We're doing pulled pork and, pulled pork one night for everybody, and release this big camp, 4 different trail runs, 2 advanced, 1 with training from one of the certified guys, and then 2 sort of intermediates. And then we're doing a female only run this year as well, as we got a lot of interest in female vets wanting to get a little experience. And one of the certified trainers is going to take out sort of the female vets and give them some cool training. So
That's
awesome.
very cool. And
Yeah.
I saw on the website that you can register for that. Is that still open?
It is still open. Yeah, it is still open. There is still room. There's a little bit of room on the wait list for trail runs that filled up pretty quick, but it is filling up quick. I mean, we have a mustard t-shirt that you can buy that ends on the 30th. So you got 4 days to buy, a ticket and get that. It's free to come. We just ask for a donation of anything you want. So if you got $1, great. And we do that because we don't want we don't want a vet or a veteran supporter not to be able to come because they can't afford it at that time. So it's whatever you want to. And honestly, with that, we get a lot of great generosity. So it all kind of evens out, and those who can afford to help out a lot more do, and those who can do $1 do $1. I mean, we get messages almost every day, and they're like, "Hey, I really want to come, but I can't afford it." I'm like, "Give us $1. Do $1, and please come." And then they do. They feel bad giving $1, but it's like, no, that's the point. We want you to be able to be there, and we'll take care of the rest for you.
Yeah, you talked about the one of the pillars of your organization being the connection piece, right? It's not about the fundraising. It's not about the although you need that to survive as an organization, but that's not the primary goal of this organization. Let's talk about that. So what are the pillars of the organization and like your mission statement?
Yeah. So mission statement is, we say that we're creating resilience within the veteran community. And resilience is the step before suicide prevention. So in the military, they give you suicide prevention class, really. And that is when you're at a point where you're kind of far down the road. When you back up from that, resilience, and this applies for everybody, not just vets. Every single human needs resilience. And resilience really is training yourself to in every day. If you come home and say you have the crappiest day ever, there's something good that happened in that day, whether it is your kids ran up and hugged you or whatever that is. And then the same happens for your week, your month, and your year. There's something good that happens, and you have to focus on the good and not the bad. The more that you can do that, the more that you create resilience in yourself. And then when hard things come to you, you can shut them a little easier. That's a build. So that's what we're really trying to do, is build resilience within this community. We do that through connection, the outdoors, and overlanding. Connection, we kind of talked about. It is the most powerful drug we have seen. And again, over and over, if you go to our testimonials on our webpage, I can't tell you how many times around the fire a vet has come to me. I mean, just recently, we flew a vet in from Michigan for our Cold Hearts run in February, and he pulled me aside on the fire and he said, "Dude, 30 days ago, my wife walked in and found me with a Glock to my head. She talked me out of it, and then I found out about this trip, and it's changed my whole life." Like, that is the impact that we are feeling through this connection piece. Therapy and drugs are tough. Like, those are things you kind of don't want to go to. And so we're trying to create this environment in this place that sort of takes that over in a better way, in a more positive way.
And if I can elaborate on that, and please, nobody bash me for trying to connect my life with what that guy's experience was, right? But we all, at least for our group, one of the things that we talk about is when we go on our trips, it's the recharge. It's the time out in the desert with the family, with the friends, doing the things, having the fun. That's the recharge that says, okay, I'm good to go for another couple months or a couple weeks or whatever it is. I can only imagine that if if you're in a position where that struggle is harder, and you're in that position where that guy's at, where the impact of that recharge and connection would be even that much more.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. It's a multiplier effect, really, right? I mean, you know, you're sitting there, you're by yourself, you're alone. Anything you want to dream up, you could dream up in that space. And then you get around a bunch of other like-minded individuals who all have been through the experience that you've been through and have built some resilience. You know, part of the reason I started this is because I came back from Iraq and I didn't have any issues. I had no PTSD. I mean, obviously it was a long transition for me, but like I got back to it. I found an amazing job. I have an amazing career. I'm doing great. I don't have any issues. I didn't lose any arms or legs. And I don't have like a guilt thing necessarily. I know it's not guilt. It's just, I want to give back, and I want to try to do something to help folks that aren't as fortunate as me coming back and being okay. And so, yeah, so being in that environment and having all those folks together, you know, the multiplier effect of that is amazing. And then to add on to that, the outdoors, you know, there's all these healing effects of the outdoors, and there's lots of studies out there on it. You go to, you go to the psychological, that is up on our website here. Let me pull it up real quick because that would be good to say.
Yeah, I'm here. It's the natural healing power of the outdoors
Yep.
has been proven to be an effective solution to mental health of all levels. Yep. Documented advantages of outdoor health are lower blood pressure and reduced stress. Matt, you need to be outside more. Improves mood.
Don't you work outside?
It improves mood, Matt. You should go outside right now. Improves focus. In addition, HR 2435 requires the Department of Veteran Affairs to establish the task force on outdoor recreation for veterans to report on and make recommendations regarding the use of public lands or other outdoor spaces for medical treatment and therapy for veterans.
Yep. Thank you for that. I didn't want to misquote that. Yeah, we signed that bill, actually. Veteran Overland signed that bill. We were on the signature of that, which is pretty awesome. It's sort of going through whatever it's going through in Congress. But yeah, so those healing powers are for everybody, right? I mean, the outdoors will change your whole outlook, and so that's one of our pillars, obviously. And then the last pillar is overlanding, and really that's sort of the skill building portion, the things that veterans are missing from what they had, whether it is, I mean, all veterans love gear. You find a veteran that doesn't like want gear, like want to pack it, like I mean, most of my, I don't do it, but most of my vet buddies, like they have an Excel spreadsheet of their pack list for, I mean, like they love it. They go nuts. And so, and then the skill building portion of it, which we try to add that with the teaching, is like, you know, how to do the recovery, how to be self-sustained, you know, all of these sort of things, just get your mind in the right place. And, you know, it's kind of the vehicle that we bring all that stuff together and what the platform that we use.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
How has the cohesion been between the veteran community and the civilian community? Like, you know, for me, like, you would think that being a veteran, like, you know, heavy or focused, you would think that some civilians might be put off because they may not be wanted because they have no experiences that are relatable to veterans. But how has that been for you guys?
Well, you're right. And we got to do a lot of convincing to get civilians to come sometimes, to be honest with you. And even with the muster as an example, we're reaching out to vendors and saying, hey, we want you to come have a booth and sell stuff. And they're saying, no, I'm a civilian. I'm not going to sell things to, you know, and it's also Memorial Day. So on Monday, we have like a moment of silence. Like we take Monday very seriously. Yeah. It's not a big barbecue, but you know, so we have these vendors, civilian vendors, like I'm not comfortable with this. And we have to kind of say, we need you to come create an experience for vets. Right. And so it's the same thing that goes with sort of to your point, civilians, they're always apprehensive. They always feel like, you know, whether it's a little bit of a click or, you know, we have our own and we have our own language, for sure. We'll be saying things you probably won't know. Our dark humor is, I promise you, worse than anything you've ever heard before in your life. I promise you that, which we try to tone it down around folks sometimes, but Um, you know, once a civilian comes into one of our events, they're like, oh, got it, cool.
Yeah.
And actually, this is the event I want to come to, because everybody has each other's back. Everybody's respectful. Everybody's looking out for each other. We all are. There's no egos. Like, people come in and they're like, I cannot believe there's no egos in this organization. I do not understand it. I would expect that to happen. It's like, no, we're all here to support each other, uplift each other, have fun, help each other out. If you don't know something, great. We had a civilian come. He was just building his truck. He's now on the leadership team. His name is Danny. He'll probably hate that I'm calling him out, but he came and he was like, I'm nervous. I don't know how to drive. And Zeb, who's our head of experience, I didn't even know this was happening, but Zeb took him out, like, I don't know, probably 7-8 times over a 4-month period.
Wow.
And just built his confidence for him. And now Danny's like a rock star, and he's got full confidence in it. So,
and I could see that from a civilian perspective. So civilian, my dad was a veteran. One of my best friends was a veteran. My level of comfort is going to be different than somebody who doesn't have that familial connection with a veteran. Matt's brothers in the military. Like, they're just people. You guys are just people. Just people are doing things, right? But I could see that from an outsider's perspective, having a level of intimidation or insecurity, probably going back to your conversation about egos, probably an expectation of a high level of alpha males running around at all times, right? But we in our group, we have a couple veterans, and like, again, family. It was your job for a while. It just like any experience, I think it'll have an impact in shaping in who you are. But it doesn't make it any less fun to hang out at the campfire. You know what I mean? I can see it. I could see it from a civilian perspective of the hesitancy. And then to your point, like, once you get in there, it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to call this guy out, the way I would call anybody else out at a campfire.
Yeah. I mean, we do some weird stuff for sure. Like Northwest Overland Rally, we wear 4-inch inseam shorts around, and everybody can't believe it.
I was watching one of your videos, and there's a very sexy tattooed gentleman playing cornhole in an outfit that I could not pull off.
Yeah. So we have no shame. So this muster, we're doing silkies. We call them silky. The Marine called them silkies, and the Army called them Ranger panties. But we're having silkies cornhole competition this muster. You don't have to be in silkies, but I bet most are. So yeah, I mean, we're a different breed in some cases for sure. But I tell you what, I mean, I know I'm saying this as a vet, but like, if you need some help, you want something, you like have a question, or if shit's hitting the fan, call your vet buddy.
Oh,
like,
for sure.
Yeah.
It's like, so let's take Overland. Most of the time we go out and do stuff, we go out and wheel, everything's fine, everything's, no big deal. But we are in a sport, in a hobby where things can go wrong. People can get hurt, shit can happen, and you know what? A spreadsheet isn't going to help anybody at that moment, so you want someone there that has the wherewithal, the calm, and the training to help resolve that situation to keep everybody going. You know what I mean? It's like, and I think that maybe that's part of that appeal, is that there's always this element of being prepared and having the gear, like you talked about, to where that's part of that appeal to the veteran community. And I think, it probably goes a long way. To your point, when the shit hits the fan, you want one of those guys on your table. Yeah.
Now that being said, there's some civilians that like their Overland truck is like squared away way more than mine is. So I'm certainly not. Please don't come look at my rig and expect something amazing. I mean, it's fine, but like, anyway.
That'd be fun. You're gonna get called out. Be like, no, there's no way you're in the military. Your shit's all disorganized.
Totally. It's like, I'm in between cooking. Give me a second.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
So the muster is the next big one. So you can go to the veteranoverland.org website and register for that. It happens Memorial Day weekend. And tell me about the land in which you guys hold the event.
Yeah, so we have land. We have 168 acres donated to us from a civilian. Actually, his dad was in the Air Force out in Dufur, Oregon, and it's on a hilltop. You can see Mount Hood, like two mountain ranges. It's like totally beautiful. There's a bunch of photos online, but so they donate that land to us, which is super great. And yeah, we go up there and set up. So we get out there on Friday and set up, and people start showing up on Friday night, and then we just rock and roll activities, and it's like a blast all weekend long. We just have fun. Camp out. You can go on a trail run if you want. You can stay back. You can stay at your campsite and hang out if you want. You can come to the happy hour or not. You can go to the classes or not. It's kind of a choose your own adventure kind of deal, but it's a lot of fun.
That's awesome. On your website, the banner on the front page, there's a bunch of different clips of you guys wheeling. Where are some of those clips at? Because the wheeling looks super cool, and like it's very different than our wheeling. We've talked about this. Like we drive by Joshua trees and rocks. Like that's all we got. Right? You guys are in these forests, and it's green and it's water, and it's like, tell me about some of the trails and the trips that you guys do.
Yeah, it's pretty much all here in the Pac Northwest. We did do the San Juans one year in Colorado, so we did like Imogene Trail, that sort of thing. We've done that once, and we did Baja last year. But otherwise, it's 100% in Oregon and Washington. All of those, I would say, all those trails you're seeing on that front one is all Oregon and Washington trails. Trails up here are amazing. We definitely have a bad reputation within the Portland and other areas that we never say where we are. We won't ever give our location. You have to show up to get it. And that's just, obviously keeping the West wild and making sure we don't overpopulate the trails. But not that you were asking exact locations, but yeah, it's all here in Washington and Oregon.
And how often do you do, you said you do the 4 big events, but how often do you do like a day run or a weekend, an overnighter?
Yeah, I mean, we're so me personally, I'm out at least 70 nights a year. Last year I did 122 nights. I camped 122 nights last year. My wife and I and 2 kids in some cases not. So I'm out all the time. I'm constantly camping. I have 3 different tools, Overland kind of tools for that. I camp off moto sometimes. I have the Land Cruiser, and I also have a Sprinter van. So I will camp in whatever weather. We camp year round, that sort of thing. But outside of that, and a lot of that is with VO obviously as well. But we're out a couple times a month. We do a lot of recons to find these trails. So we'll, before muster, we'll go out 3 or 4 times and really make sure that our trails are tight, that we want to take everybody through. Anytime we do one of these events, we go map the entire trail just to make sure there's no snafus, turnarounds, any of those sort of issues.
See, we just plan for the snafu. We just expect the snafu, and then it's like, this is, hey, everybody, first snafu.
Yep. And and when I'm by myself, I do the same thing for sure. But there's something about guiding other people in this experience that if that mess up happens, you feel kind of bad. I mean, it would be okay.
You would think so?
So here's, we've talked about it. So I used to like plan, and I would get anxiety, and I have a shit sense of direction. Again, if I was in the military, we would all be in Guatemala trying to find shit. Like, it's the worst. So I used to get this anxiety of leading 20 rigs on a trip, and like every time I made a U-turn, someone would make fun of me or talk about it. And finally, I just embraced it. Like, this, look, we're gonna have an over/under. Whoever guesses the amount of U-turns for the trip gets something at the raffle. Like, it just becomes a feature now. So I don't get the anxiety that I used to, and I still do a lot of planning, and I love having it. And most of the planning's for me. Like, if we get off track, at least I know we're off track, and I can kind of veer back to where I want to go. But in some cases, when we're doing something that's not, if it's far enough away that we can't pre-run, or we've never been there before, we'll figure it out. We just always figure it out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we do one larger trip a year here or there. We don't do it every year. But this next year, we're going to run the whole Washington BDR, and we got some folks coming with us. I think a journalist is coming, photographer, videographer, that whole thing. They're going to document the thing, which will be pretty awesome. Gerber is coming out with us. Gerber Gear.
Everybody needs baby
they're
food.
local. Yeah, the knives instead. Yeah. So they're coming with us. But anyway, like we'll do big trips like that, but we usually limit it to 10 rigs. So it's first come, first serve type of thing. We like to keep it tight. We'll do 2 chalks sometimes. We'll do a 10 and a 10 if necessary, but we kind of try to keep it small.
Yeah. What, you mentioned your kids. How old are your kids?
My daughter's 13. She says she still likes me. TBD
cool.
on that.
Congratulations.
How long that? Yeah. And my son is 16. He's a sophomore in high school.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
My daughter's 6, and I've told my wife I'll take her till she's 9. My wife gets her from 9 to 17, and then I'll pick back up after that. I don't.
You got it coming. You got it coming. Let me tell you.
She's already. At 6.
Gosh.
Already. It's a thing. It's a thing.
I tell her, I'm like, you don't have to talk to me if you don't want to. I just would appreciate it to still show me that you love me and still just have a little respect in the household. If those 2 things happen and you don't want to talk to me, fine. And we've had this, that's the compromise, and it seems to be working so far. Things will change at 14, I'm sure. But,
Do the wife and daughter get along?
Oh yeah. I mean, she doesn't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
That's my thing is I gotta figure out how to get them along to the whole time. You mentioned family friendly on some of these trips. Are they typically are most of the trips with other people's families and kids and stuff? Some of the videos I've watched, it seems like everybody's got everything from newborns to grown-ups.
Yeah, so families are always invited. If we happen to do an event and there isn't any families, great. We'll turn it up a notch. But families of military personnel have it the hardest and the worst, right? I mean, you think about somebody deploying, and that husband or wife is going to stay home with the kids for 12 to 18 months, and so you got to incorporate the family in this stuff. And granted, we'd all like to hang out and we drink beer regardless if there's a family member or not. But we want to do that, but you got to incorporate the family. I mean, it's such a big component of this. And the Vet Connect, which is our program where we fly vets in, fully paid, fully funded. We're doing it for a couple of vets from Memorial Day. They can drive in, and we'll pay for their gas and food and everything on the drive-in, or we'll fly them in, depending upon our available funds. But if they want, they get to choose their adventure. So if they want to do a big group, they can have a big group. If they need it to be smaller, because that happens sometimes, that's fine. If they want to bring their family, they can. If they don't, they don't. So they kind of get to choose that adventure on how they want that to happen. But a lot of folks want to bring their family.
Yeah. We always encourage the family. Nobody's really sure if Jose has a family. He talks about them all the time. We've never seen them.
I've seen pictures.
Yeah, pictures. And we find that the wives and kids don't want to come on the cold trips. Like that seems to be when it's a smaller group. It's we did King of the Hammers, or a couple years ago.
I don't want to come on the cold.
Yeah, even Matt doesn't want to come on the cold trips. So
it's always cold or hot on our trips.
That seems to be the limiting factor is temperature, because we're all weak. So the as soon as the muster ends after Memorial Day, what's next? Are you planning for the rest of the year, the other trips of the year, or do you focus on the muster again because it's so big?
No, after that we'll start focusing on the other events. So we do plan muster all year long. That is for sure. That's that is a lot of planning and a lot of organization. Between February and May, we're total blackout, nothing but muster planning for the most part. We'll do a couple things here or there, which we have done it, flying a vet or something for like a quick overnight or something like that if we have the ability to. But after that, we start planning out a couple of events. So we have Northwest Overland Rally, which we always have a booth at. That's in June. Actually, it gets kind of busy. There's quite a few things. We don't think we're going to make Expo in the Pac Northwest this year. That one's a little big for us and a little more vendor centric. Expo is kind of a vendor show, not really, that's what that's for. So we don't know if we'll make that, but we have quite a few in the crew that camp off moto. So, ADV stuff, and there's a couple moto shows coming up as well. And then we'll roll right into, I think our big trip in, I'm trying to think if I missed anything, but I think our big trip, our kind of 8-day trip along, the backcountry of Washington for 8 days, and that'll be in October, is where we roll into that. So,
what's the weather like in October in Washington?
October is Wheeling is the best.
Is it?
That's the best. Yeah, that is the best. And the reason is because obviously summer's hot, but then we got fires up here, as you all do too. The fires, I mean, half of our trails have been blown out from the fires, quite frankly, and are still closed. So that all the fires are done. It starts to cool down a little bit. It's not raining yet. It's like the best. It's the best weather.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting anything else, but yeah.
So I think we've had you for an hour. This has been a fantastic conversation.
It's fun.
What would be the message? Like, if there's a veteran out there right now that's listening and maybe hasn't gotten involved with your organization or other organizations, what kind of guidance would you provide to someone that's looking for that?
Yeah, we get pinged. We get either through DM or email. With vets struggling regularly. I mean, it can be every day we get a ping. It can be weekly. Sometimes it's not for a month. It's certainly not every day, but and a lot of them will say, I can't get to you guys. I'm out in South Carolina and it's not cool. You guys aren't around, and there isn't anything like that. There is no other Veteran Overland. There is another organization that does it, Team Overland, but they're also in the Pac Northwest, so that's not helpful. And so what I tell these vets is you got to find a community and you got to find your people. That is what will bring you out of any dark situation that you're in. You got to find like-minded individuals. You need to get out and spend time with these folks. And the other thing about, overlanding and, we drive, as we'll drive for 8 hours a day. It's not sitting in a dark bar, and the thing that you got to do is when you find your people, don't go straight to the bar and do, sort of woe is me. Find your folks. Find your folks whatever state you're in. We have our own forums that we run in case, because some folks don't like Facebook and that sort of thing. So we have our own forums, and on there that's where we try to get vets to connect outside of the Pac Northwest. So we have chapter forums. California has its own, and so go on the forums, put in there that you want to find somebody, and then try to take off from there on the forums a little bit. The forums haven't totally taken off. There's a lot of chat on there, but we hope that we can provide a platform to get folks to connect, even if we're not there or we're not, doing it, that they can find themselves and go out. And that has happened quite a bit. And if we can make those connections, we try to, but we push everybody to our forums to try to make those connections.
Yeah, I mean, that's great advice. You guys have a lot of resources on your website. There's a whole vet resources page that's got all kinds of stuff. And I would even say that find your people, even if your people are dorks like us. So again, we may not be able to connect with the veteran experience or be able to understand, but I would think that
I'm good at taking insults.
Yes, if you need someone to beat on, if you need to make fun of somebody,
I'm easy to make fun of.
Oh, for sure. Just join the chat room every Tuesday night, and that's what we're here for. But in all honesty, like the off-road overland communities, these groups, maybe you're the only veteran. Maybe there's another guy in there that you don't know. Maybe you go on a camp trip and you realize that the conversations around the campfire aren't much different than what you're used to. And I don't. Yes, it would be fantastic if there was a veteran overland in every metro city, but in the absence of that at this point, find an off-road community, an overland community that you can connect with, go hang out with, go wheeling with. And I think you'll find that, again, if you're the only veteran in a group of civilians, maybe you bring something to...
Probably bring a lot of value.
Bring something to...
Something that we would appreciate.
100%. 100%. And like I said, we've got a couple veterans in our group that hang out with us, and it doesn't come up in normal conversation, and it's just them hanging out with dudes and our families, and you know what I mean? So, I guess my point is that while there's hesitance from civilians participating in veteran groups. There may also be
the other way
hesitance
around.
from veterans participating in civilian groups. And I'd be willing to speak for most of them that, hey, you know what? Come join us. Sign up for one of the trips. Go on a day trip with us. Go hang out with us on the weekends. You're going to have a good time. We all sit around and make fun of each other and then watch Matt and Casey drink beer and then make fun of them. That's the extent of our trip.
Which is the same as ours.
We do it
so
for the
there is no
people.
difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no difference.
We do it for the people, Matt.
Yeah, hey, thanks for saying that, honestly, because that is powerful, and just you saying that is powerful, and that's the point. Like, all these pillars that I was talking about, whether it's connection or the outdoors, we don't own those. That's not a veteran only thing, and that's not a veteran overland only thing. That's happening with you all as well. When you go out just as civilians, you're in the outdoors, improving your focus, blood pressure, and other things. And then you're also, doing the skill building and all that. Yeah.
I mean, I'm still alive. So that's kind of corroborates, right? Like, I have high blood pressure. I go camping. I'm still alive.
His
So.
blood pressure drops until the sun goes down, and then it shoots right back up.
Who knows?
With the
Maybe
cocktails.
it goes further down. Right?
But in all honesty, I think that just connecting with people in general, whether you're a veteran facing veteran-related issues or a CEO facing the stresses of managing a business, or whatever the case may be, or just all of us have something that we need to. I don't want to say work through, but all of us have something that we can escape. Thank you, Casey. That we can escape, and that do it in the outdoors with people.
Thank you, disembodied voice on the screen.
weird, fuzzy guy with your
phasing in and out of existence. Whatever's
I'm
going
floating
on
in Delaware.
I think that's first of all, it's commendable what you guys are doing, and the way in which you're doing it, and the people that are involved, and it's inspirational. Thank you for coming on and talking, because I think that having someone like you come on and tell those stories makes it that much easier for civilians to get involved. I appreciate your time very much, and I hope that if there are veterans out there that want to connect, find a way to do that with our group, your group, some group. And I appreciate your time and all the things that you've done. So thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing that with us.
Yeah, thank you guys as well. Really appreciate the time and appreciate you spreading the message.
All right, man. You have a great night.
Yep, you guys too. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
All right, YouTube is still going. We'll end the audio feed at that point.
He didn't hang up on us.
He did hang up. Yeah.
I was gonna say
something.
Tim beat me to it in the chat room. He was like, "Dude, that dude's mustache needs to have its own Instagram profile."
I was monitoring the chat. I was going to bring up the mustache fan, but
before he said that, I was like, "That is one marvelous mustache."
Yes,
dude. I thought that as soon as he got on camera, I was like, "Man, look at that stash."
Yeah. I'm sure you can tell by the way he's blushing. He gets it a lot. He's
well, yeah. I mean, when COVID kicked off, March 2020 or whatever. The organization I work for, we closed all our stores, right? And I was like, I'm growing a mustache and I'm not shaving it off until, we open all of our retail locations back up, and got like a lot of people in the organization to grow a mustache. And then they all like shaved it pretty quickly, because I'm pretty sure their wives were like, no. And then my wife was like, that's kind of hot. And I was like, you mean I can keep it? And she's like, yeah. I was like, yeah, because that's the gift.
Kudos
right?
to your wife, man. That's a confident woman that'll allow you to walk around with that mustache and know that you're not going to leave her. That's what I'm saying.
She carries one of those police batons in her purse
to beat off the women that are coming after you with that mustache. I'm telling you.
Oh, that's funny.
Do you ever visit Hawaii and drive around a red Ferrari and solve crimes?
That's what I was for Halloween.
Badass.
Yeah, that's great.
That's what I was for Halloween.
Great.
We happened to be in Little Rock, Arkansas. We're just driving through. We were driving through the country, my wife and I, and we ended up in Little Rock, Arkansas for Halloween. We brought our costumes, and I brought shorts that were like this, tan shorts. They're like this tall.
Yes.
We went out to a piano bar. We got lots of honks and hoots and hollers for the shorts. And there was a construction worker that also had short shorts, but he pulled out his tape measure and I won.
Oh,
Mine were
nice.
shorter. So
Nice.
yeah, so it was good.
Is that like the never-ending battle, like amongst all the armed services, like whose shorts are the shortest? Like between Army, Navy, and like Marine.
It's an Army Marine fight.
Okay,
is what it is.
okay.
It's usually, for the most part, it's the Army and the Marines that both want to have shorter shorts, and and it's one particular short. It's made by Softy or whatever. It is short. It's a short. But that's the short.
I am not going to look up Softy shorts
call it
on
the
my
wedgie.
Google. I'll tell you that right now. I'm going to leave that off my search.
Look, I got my algorithms right where I want them, and that's probably not something I want, my wife stumbling into. Like,
that will demolish your algorithms.
Yeah, what are you looking at?
Your gymnast on the bicycle, she'll go away immediately on that one.
I'm sending you all a pair of silkies.
It sounds awesome.
Wear them.
We'll wear them on our next trip.
I'll pass. So
Me and Case will wear them.
yes, you will.
Me and Jose will wear them in the snow.
The housekeeping here. So I will edit this together tomorrow night. I will send you an email with the when it's posted and ready to go. It'll be ready for download on Thursday. I'll also include some social media posts. We usually create a post for each one of the episodes. I'll send that to you to promote it on your side. We'll promote it on our side. In the interim, if you have any questions, please reach out. And going forward, if you guys have anything that you want to promote or talk about, or a message to spread, or something that's coming up that's relevant, open invitation anytime you want. Just hit us up. We'd love to have you back on and talk, and maybe even down the road share some of the stories of some of the other people in your organization. Just get perspective from other people that have come up through the ranks and literally come up through the ranks and done these things, and I think it'd be awesome. So, thank you so much. We really appreciate what you're doing, and hopefully we get to connect soon. I will be up there for the expo. I don't know that I think that's the only time. And if you guys want to come down and do a trip down in California, say the word, we will. We'll lay out all the U-turns. We'll show you exactly where not to go. But the Mojave Trail is a great 3-day trip. There's a lot of stuff down here in the desert that we can help with if that's what you want to do.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. So I appreciate it, man. Is there anything else before we let you cut out?
No, just want to say thanks again. Any vets that are still watching, if you want a sponsored Vet Connect, go to our website and sign up. There's a little application. If you want to have a fully sponsored veteran Overland experience, please do that. Come on, do that. And then we do most of our funding. We're self-sufficient, so we fund almost 100% of the mission through the product that we sell online. So
we didn't talk about that. You guys have some of the coolest freaking stuff on your website.
Well, we're not done. We can
So
it.
I'm gonna hold on. What's the time here? 1:42. Hey, we're not really done. We're back. We one of the things I forgot to mention, and we're going to talk about. We're going to clip this in. So there was a little bit of an edit right there. You were just talking about the funding for Veteran Overland.
Yeah. So we obviously do take donations, and there's some sponsors that we have, and we do get help from other vendors and stuff, but we are almost completely self-sufficient, or try to be self-sufficient. And we do that through our product sales online. And Will, he ships out of his garage 3 times a week of all of our t-shirts and hats. And we designed a first aid kit, which is coming back in stock here pretty soon. We designed that from scratch from our combat experience. In the application, goes on the back of the seat. It rips down for quick access. It can rip off the back of the seat. In the military, you always had your medical and your water near your driver's seat in case of a rollover. So we designed it after that. So anyways, and all of this product is kind of how we keep the mission alive. It's how we fly vets in. So please sort of visit the website, and you can support us through purchasing our product and supporting the brand. And don't worry if you're not a vet, still support the brand. It means you support vets, and please do appreciate that.
And you guys, is your shop, and I've seen the product up close because Adam wears it when I'm seeing it at work. The design is amazing. The logo is awesome. Go to page 1, and I want everybody to buy the red shirt. The Remember Everyone Deployed, partially because of the sexy model that is modeling that shirt. I feel like that's one of those things you should buy. But no, in all honesty, the VO shop is awesome. If you go to veteranoverland.org, go to their shop, you can find all their stuff. That flannel's really cool. And that helps provide the support that you guys need to keep the funding going.
Did you say the first aid kit was going to be in stock again?
It's coming back. Yeah,
Okay.
It is coming back. It should be in stock within the next 30 days.
Okay.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you guys, everything from shirts and hats and beanies and stickers to cups and I like this. I saw this a couple times on your site, and you got the shirt that says "Hunt the Good Stuff." I think that's a very cool message. I like that. So that's it. We just wanted to bring it back to the funding because we forgot to talk about it. I actually meant to bring it up and I didn't. So thank you for reminding me. So everybody go to veteranoverland.org and go to the shop and buy a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, 100% tax deductible. All of your donations and everything that you purchase, it all goes straight to the vets. Nobody gets a salary around here, so 100% tax deductible.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, I'll clip that back in at the back end.
Thanks. I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
And I had it up on on one of the tabs, and it was one of the things I was going to bring up, and just didn't get to it.
Yeah, we got rolling.
So awesome. Yeah, we'll
cool.
I'll send you an email tomorrow with all the details, and we'll go from there. And 100% honest. Come back anytime, man. Let us know what we can do to help.
Yeah. Would love the rest of the crew to be able to get some screen time. So, would love, the rest of the LT to maybe be able to talk. Zeb is a character. You would love Zeb on your show for sure. And Will as well is awesome. So, and maybe we could have a less serious mission motto type of conversation next time and not so promotional. You take me out of the case and then it gets a little more fun, I think.
Well,
but anyways,
I feel like we did a good job of balancing that, right? That was kind of one of the things I wanted to make sure that the message and the mission got out, but we still had a good time doing it.
Yeah. Any recaps of the events? Like if you want, like a couple months out, you want to do a recap of muster or something like that. Any of that, if you need us, we'd love to come back on.
Okay.
So please let us know.
Awesome.
For sure.
Awesome.
Thank
Cool.
you.
All right, man. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. You have a great night.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Good meeting you.
Bye.
Nice to meet you. Thanks.
Thanks, Adam, for setting this up. Okay. You ready to roll right in, guys? 3, 2, 1. All right. So yesterday we did a thing. Well, 3 of us did a thing. Matt had to work. He had a stupid job thing going on.
Chump.
And between the 4 of us, one of us did a thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, I filmed a lot.
It seemed like a typical trail chaser install. Casey just moves around like a
Casey.
Let me
We model Caltrans,
Yeah, can I recap? And I wasn't even there. You guys were standing there looking at the parts and
nodding.
look at how shiny
We're
and new.
nodding our heads and
Yeah, and the next thing you know, it would get yanked out of your hands because Casey was putting it in, moving like a flash.
Jose did carry the leaf springs. Each of the leaf springs, Jose carried those to the truck.
It took beef to move the beef. And he took the mud flaps off.
yeah.
Yes, he did.
I saw that on
yeah.
Instagram, and I was like, I don't know if Jose's ever used a screwdriver before. Like, are you sure you're qualified? Are you a certified mud flap technician?
Not a mud flap technician, but there's a first for everything.
So what
And
we're
I didn't even think about it. And he's like, "Give me the Phillips. I have a power Phillips." I just handed him a Phillips screwdriver. Like, here, take 10 minutes to do that.
Yeah,
himself.
yeah, but you didn't want him to get them done too quick. So what we're referring to is that we took Jose's 2022 Nissan Frontier, Big Red. What are we calling it?
Not Big Red.
The Red Rocket.
Red Rocket.
I thought it was Red Rocket. Dude.
We took the Red Rocket up to Bear Valley Overland in Big Bear, California, and
I got a real nice scenery of the 18
going
up. And
oh
going back.
yes. Oh, that. Let's talk about that real quick. So what we did was we put a Frontier 22 Frontier prototype suspension, Ironman prototype suspension kit on his. We'll talk about that in a second. But the plan was to meet up there at 10. I left like as soon as I dropped off Presley at school. I just went up there. So I got up there by 9, and on my way up, I had to pass a couple tractors and like they were going to be doing some work or whatever. But I made it up there, no problems at all. It's like 9:45.
It was like 9:30.
9:30.
Like 20 minutes
9:30,
out.
Yeah, and we're like, what's going on? Jose calls and he's like, the 18 is shut down, and I have to turn around and go all the way down.
I was 20 minutes from the shop.
That's bullshit.
There's no signs or anything.
There wasn't any signs or anything.
They waited till you got all the way up there, and then so he had to go all the way back down.
Jose, you messed up right there. What you were supposed to do is somehow drop your truck off and then like, oh, I'm stuck over here, and then that way they start working on your truck while you get stuck I'm stuck at the gas station picking up lunch or whatever.
I gave him an option. I said, you got 2 choices. You can go all the way down and then go over to the 38, or you can take 3N16 from Green Valley Lake.
It would have taken
all
just
the way
as long.
into all the way
It
into
would have
Big
taken
Bear.
just as long.
Just as long.
It would have been more fun,
That's true.
and it was dirt.
True.
Yeah,
So-
it was too much dirt.
He
for
was
his
all.
truck.
I'll take that away.
So Jose got up to the shop around 11, and we did the install. So and I say we, I mean like Casey and Corey did the install. I filmed and Jose took pictures. So it was the Iron Man is working on a kit for that Frontier. We had front coilovers, rear leaf springs, upper control arms, all of the accessories. Nicole in the chat room is saying, Jose, how did you miss all of the signs on the 210?
Apparently, it's pretty easy to miss.
Too close. I missed them too. I went right by them.
Dude, I didn't see one sign.
But again, I don't read. Like I'm just going
Well,
straight.
you can't see, so
I can't see shit. So it was. It was. I'm going to say that the installation was very similar to what we experienced on the install for Casey's.
It's a very straightforward install.
Straightforward kit, right? The front
Not
coilover.
just straightforward, but it has like 400 miles on it. So it was like, man, these bolts, they almost feel like they're loose. Like there's not like shit tons of grime on them. They're not been driven through the mud. They're not rusted together.
Yep.
Everything just came apart and went together the way it was supposed to.
Yeah. Everything was clean. Everything
Clean.
went well. Front coilovers, front billet control arms, rear leaf pack, a new leaf pack.
They're not billet. They're forged.
Is it?
They are forged.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're
okay.
not billet.
Forged upper control arms, new leaf pack, new rear shocks. What you would expect in a kit.
Mhm. It's a full suspension kit.
Full suspension kit. The net increase was a couple inches on the front, couple inches on the back, like 3 inches on the back, 2.5 on the front. The good thing is you already had the larger wheels, the larger tires and wheels already installed. So it wasn't like we did the lift and you drove around on donuts until so that was good. The kit again, very similar. I bet if we went back and listened to our recap of the installation on Casey's truck and Matt's truck, it'd be the same.
It's
The
the
same
exact
experiences,
same
right? The same.
It's basically the same kit.
It's the same.
Yeah,
kit.
very very similar.
It's the same truck.
It's the same truck underneath.
Yeah,
Literally.
Yeah. The things that as a Nissan driver, if you're going to put a kit on, things that you need to be aware of is that one of the bolts for the upper control arms will need to get cut out. That's a Nissan factory thing. The way they put the bolt in, you can try to get it out.
It's on the driver's side because once you try to take it out, it's going to hit the steering shaft.
Yep.
Steering column shaft.
And there was a brief conversation. Corey mentioned disconnecting the knuckle on the steering shaft and pulling it out that way. When we did Matt's, we just kept jamming it out and then just beat the shit out of that boot on his steering shaft.
Yeah, we ripped that boot.
Yeah, we did.
There's ways around it, but it's like if
the
you have
easiest
the
way
bolt,
is just to cut it.
just cut the shit. Yeah, just cut it.
Yeah, cut the bolt, put a new bolt in. That was what we did with Casey's.
Just go find your buddy that has a JK and take one of his lower control arm bolts out, and it fits perfectly.
Yeah, so that's an issue. And then at full droop on 3 different upper control arms that we've installed now, 3 different manufacturers.
The coil buckets need to get trimmed.
Correct. The upper control arms will make contact with the coil bucket. Now,
that's not an Iron Man. That's a common.
It's a Nissan thing.
Yeah, it's a Nissan thing because we did it with the Icon kit. We did it with the JBA kit, the JBA control arms.
The SPC.
I thought
the SPC control arms.
Okay. And then this one. So it's the way they make that bucket. That coil bucket comes down and then it flares out, and it's like a big flare unnecessarily. I don't know what it's for.
It's probably just from the press.
The way it's pressed, yeah.
So that probably adds rigidity, I would assume.
So that got trimmed, and then after that, the front was super straightforward.
Yep.
The back, we had a little bit of clearance issue on the sway bar, so we're working through that solution now. The quick recap, once it got installed, and the crazy thing is we probably could have got it done. I keep saying we. Casey and Corey could have gotten it done in 2.5 hours.
Well, we were filming and taking
we were
pictures.
filming and taking pictures and all that stuff. So we got
and
it all.
I got there late.
We got it all put together, and we took off down the hill. I followed Jose down the hill. We went down the 38 because the 18 was still closed. Mm-hmm. And I followed him and filmed a little bit while we were driving. And I specifically wanted to watch the truck and see how it drove. There at one point, I should find it. Oh, I have it right here. At one point, I commented on the way Jose was driving because I'm going to tell you, I have never seen Jose drive like this to the point where I had to. You had
to put your driving shoes on.
I had to. Oh, that's not it. Hold on. I need to find the video.
That's audio.
Yeah, I know. There's
Just
one.
So you know.
There's one where I'm talking about how proud I am of Jose for the way he's driving, and it was amazing. I even called Jose when we got down to the bottom of the hill, and I was like, "Dude, what has gotten into you? I've never seen you drive like this."
That's called Frontier confidence.
It's Frontier.
Yeah.
Well, yes, something. Oh, I think here it is. Hold on.
I can't do
Bear
that.
Valley Overland in Big Bear. Here we go. Hold on. All right, we are coming down from Bear Valley Overland in Big Bear after the Ironman Foam Cell Pro install on Jose's Frontier, and I don't know what's gotten into Jose. I've never seen him drive this fast. We are coming down the hill. We're moving at a pace that is within the limits of the speed posted speed limit, I'll say, but it is. He's moving quickly, and I am so proud of him right now. I just wish I had a cell signal to call him and tell him how proud I was. But he is killing it. The Frontier looks freaking amazing. I don't know if you can catch it in the video, but this is, I think something lit a fire under him right now. So, when I called him when we got down the hill, I made the comment about driving, and he was like, "Well, I can do that in this truck. I can't do it in the Land Cruiser." And now it makes him driving the Land Cruiser that much funnier because he has the capability to drive like a jackass, but he's just in the back with his foot I'm picturing him with his foot slammed to the floor in that Land Cruiser trying to keep up and imagining how frustrating that has to be.
You're not wrong. It's not frustrating. It's just that's the way you got to drive that truck. You're going nowhere fast.
So do you think it feels better at higher speeds, Jose? Did you feel more Frontier? Confident in the truck?
Yeah, dude, it's way more. It's stiff for sure, but that's with any
firm.
It's more firm, yeah. But you could also there's more control with that. So you've driven it. We're now
24 hours in. I mean, we left there yesterday at 3 o'clock. What's your thoughts? I mean, any clunks, any bumps, any issues? You said there's some rubbing.
I gotta trim. I'm gonna have to trim the fender a little bit. Either that or the BFH. Take the BFH.
Is it the outer end of the fender?
The inner.
By the door.
By the door. But other than that, no, man. It's just like any good aftermarket solution. You hit the bumps and it just soaks it up.
Jose, look, I've been looking for a reason to get a plasma cutter. Is this the reason? That's
a little bit of overkill for what we have to do.
Is it?
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, all I have to do is come up with a good reason to Monty and just say, hey.
Yeah.
I had to get this plasma cutter because Jose had to cut some stuff out of the way. And it was the only way we could do it.
He's got the brass hammer. I think we'll just use that.
I think I could just use that $35 brass hammer.
Damn you, brass hammer.
So
I can't believe how good that truck looked. I think it looks so good.
The what size tires?
285.
285,
17s.
Man, don't sleep on that Frontier. If you're in the market, that's you got to spend some time looking at that thing and driving it. It is it's a phenomenal truck.
It looks like a beast right now.
It does. It looks great. I think
the red and bronze is like the perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect color
even
combo.
the red color. I was giving him shit earlier about it being red, but the red color looks great. Great choice on the bronze wheels. I'm really excited about how what your feedback is over the next couple weeks testing it. I think we're going to try to
take it over as many speed bumps at the mall.
We go to the local mall and see how it
does. Does it make you want to take it in the dirt?
Oh yeah, dude.
No,
definitely.
We'll go off some curbs. Some
camping
big,
trip.
He'll park it in that lot next to his house. Be like,
overnighter this
That's
Saturday.
about as
exactly.
That's about
I'm
as
gonna park it in the
get.
dirt next door to my house.
Yes.
An empty lot next to his house.
No,
overnighter this Saturday in the desert.
There's some softball-sized rocks in that lot. I'll tell you. It's not like don't dismiss it.
That's
my only reservation with taking the Frontier off road right now
is you're never gonna want to go back.
That for sure. Like I could already see that. Like I look at the Land Cruiser now, I'm just like, man, it's like work to drive that thing, you know?
Think about the amount of gear you could buy after selling the Land Cruiser.
I know.
Oh my gosh!
So if you're on the YouTubes, because there's people are asking for it. If you're on the YouTubes, there's a picture of the after on the install of the truck. And it came out great.
But it's just I don't have any underbody protection, so that's
you could get a lot of skid plates for this.
You're on stilts now. What do you need underbody protection?
My only concern would be the gas tank.
No, my concern is the oil pan, dude. It's right there. It's
you can buy a lot of skid plates for
you know
what you can get for that.
Do you know the width of that skid plate is like nothing on my truck?
Yeah, and I don't even have one, dude.
Flimsy.
And I don't even have one.
Yeah,
so.
my transmission skid plate.
You can have my old one.
Yeah,
just hammer the fuck out
You
of
guys
it.
need to buy some material, and then we'll make some skid plates.
I would definitely like to do that for the Ranger too. I mean, I knocked
plasma
cutter.
What plasma cutter?
Yeah, I mean, there's companies that have the skid plates for my truck. For our trucks, it's just they're fucking expensive.
Yeah,
I know one company that makes them.
Yeah, me too.
They came off the website though. For some reason.
Not if you look on the other countries' websites.
Yeah. .co.au. All right, so I'm assuming you're happy.
Yeah, I'm ecstatic, dude. Like you said, it makes me want to take the truck out even more now. But just having nothing under there is like the biggest anxiety thing.
Yeah,
that would be on my mind if I were to take it on a trail. Just one big ass rock and one wrong turn move, it'll end catastrophically.
Mm-hmm. Or spectacularly. I mean, you really got to think about it from our perspective. Watching it happen, it would be spectacular.
Take some of your part replacement budget from the cruiser.
Don't
and
put
that's
it
right there.
Yeah, don't do an alternator this month.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Don't do the preventative maintenance on it this month.
Where we camped for the Patreon run out Cougar Buttes, you could drive it out to there, no problem.
Oh yeah, that's easy.
That whole road out there.
It's literally
it depends. If you go the way I went,
no. The whole road, the whole actual.
If I take the road that's an actual street, like it has a street name, to the campsite.
Why don't you look on
overnight or Saturday?
Pick apart or something and find a front. You know what? I've tried that.
And then we could
finding
take
a Pro
pictures.
4X sitting in a junkyard.
No Pro 4Xs, bro.
There's hardly any Frontiers in there. I'm thinking of just stripping whatever I can. Like those the bed rail hardware, like I don't know.
Yeah, see, I don't have those Utilitracks that you guys have. Those the tracks for in the bed. I want to get that. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
you can buy them from Ironman. They have the 24-inch tracks.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
I have them. I have like haven't even used them.
I have to install mine. I have two 24-inch tracks that I had planned on using, and then when we built the bed rack, it changed the configuration. So I got to figure out what I'm gonna do with those. But
no, I want to take that truck out like on a trip, really bad.
I think that you should.
Overnighter this Saturday.
My Saturday plans have changed. I initially had plans for Saturday night. Man, there's a Toyota Land Cruiser right here that's on sale for Craigslist for $25,000, dude. Here's one for $30,000 that's not even as nice as yours.
With all the extra parts you have,
Man,
double.
Yeah.
Yes, you
Probably pay off the Frontier.
no joke.
New Zapruder joints, new alternator, new water pump, new catalytic converter, new battery, new starter.
It has new battery, new starter, new alternator.
Mm-hmm. I'm just saying.
Zapruder joints.
Zapruder joints.
Anyways, the installation went super
New
super
tires.
well. Very very happy with the way it all went in. We are reporting back to Iron Man on some of the experiences. Jose, you said that people are already asking when.
Yeah, on some of the comments on the picture, there's like, where can I get the kit?
Yeah, I think that if that kit can be dialed in, I think it would be a huge hit for the Nissan market.
Yeah, and it's mainly just the changes from the biggest change is that rear sway bar.
Yeah.
The Casey and Matt's truck don't have one. They changed it for the 3rd gen, and they just have to.
I think it's real easy to solve that issue.
Yeah, you just got to do those spacers.
We talked about what we think the solution could be.
But it's not like anything like world ending. Like
no.
It's a simple. It should be a simple fix. That, and then just it's not even addressing. It's just the other steps you got to take to install any lift kit on the Nissan platform.
Yeah, that's a universal thing.
I like those shackles. I don't have
Yes.
those shackles.
Those shackles are really nice.
Yeah, they're pretty
really
You need to
stout.
give me some of them.
heavy duties.
Well, like we said, it's a prototype. We're getting the opportunity to put it on Jose's truck and test it and get some feedback. We'll figure out if it's a good commuting suspension system for driving to work and back.
Going to the mall.
Going to the mall
Parking lot.
Yeah, that's the reports that he's going to get back.
Potholes and
Iron
railroad
Man,
tracks.
I went to the Pointy Hills Mall. I went to
I went to go buy a Trail Chaser
I went to
hat.
get a Trail Chaser hat. Nothing was there. So
they didn't know what I was talking about.
Still no logo there, but I did say hello to Matt's favorite salesman, whoever he was. Then I drove up to the Montclair Plaza. It handled great there.
I mean, it handles mountain roads very, very well.
Dude, again, you were hauling ass down the hill, and like I was filming through the windshield, and I was specifically trying to watch for body roll,
there was
and
no
there was
body
no
roll,
body
dude.
roll. There was no excessive bouncing. There was no. It looked super planted and solid.
It feels that way.
Good. So we will keep you up to date on more of that as we as Jose gets to experience it some more, and again, it's a prototype.
The kit's like 90% there though.
I honestly think there's some modifications.
Yeah.
That because, like, for example, we had 2 different U-bolts that we had to figure out
That's
which
right,
one was the right ones, and a couple things that.
What would be cool is if they just sent you a new bolt.
That's what I was going to suggest too. They should just send the bolt.
That was part of my feedback is that cut it out, put a new bolt in. It's super simple.
Yep.
But again, it doesn't matter what kit you buy. If you're going to change
stuff.
the upper control arm on a Nissan, be prepared to cut that bolt.
But they would probably be the only ones that sent the bolt. Like, you know what I mean? I don't think you get a bolt. They just go, here's a suggestion. You could either fight it or you can do this and go buy a bolt.
Yeah.
So if you get to that point and you're already completely tore down and you're by yourself, you're like, fuck. I gotta walk
I was gonna suggest
10 miles
they
to
should just
the
supply
hardware
that
store.
Yeah.
Yep.
So thank you to Jose for being willing to be a guinea pig and test it out, and thank you to Iron Man for trusting us to do that. It was a lot of fun. Thank you to Bear Valley Overland, Corey and Casey. You know, obviously we trust Casey to work on our vehicles because he's going to be with us on the trips. And when something goes wrong, I'm going to stand back and point at it and go, dude,
Hey, it's making this
that
noise.
was you. That was you.
You're gonna go. You
but-
changed tire.
Yeah.
Tire shit.
Tire shits. Yeah, Casey had a customer come into the store and say, "You changed tire shit." So Casey changed the tire.
No. Tire no shit no more.
What's wrong with that tire? He said, it's shit. All right, man.
All right.
I'm trying to what kind of accent? Was
We're not gonna go down that route. We're not gonna go down the accent route.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
So anything else? I mean, that was the big thing for the week was the install. I don't think I have anything else big for the week to talk about. What about you guys? Anything new? Anything we needed to address?
And then me and Matt decided that the next TC expedition will be at Topgolf.
Oh, that's right. We did.
I was gonna say, I don't want to say disappointed in the Topgolf, but it's like, are they fully set up yet? Because, like the screen, I was telling Jose earlier. So in Vegas, you had like your own TV with sports on, and then you had an equal size screen that showed like the what your ball was tracking. It showed like, spin rate, all kinds of cool shit, like the graph of your ball flight, all that cool stuff on one big screen. And out here, it was like all advertising. It was just the one screen. It was just a bunch of bullshit advertising. And then in the lower left corner, you had like a little 10-inch by 10-inch screen showing you
The score.
like the score and then the distance. And that was it.
Yeah.
So I was like,
we asked them, and they were like, "Yeah, that's just at like Vegas and, I don't know, wherever their other big ones at, Florida or some shit.
Florida?
I don't know wherever their next big one's at. Somewhere else.
I
Like,
don't want to go to a
not anything, not anywhere
that-
we're gonna go.
That wasn't like the Vegas one.
Yeah, Vegas was the best. Yeah, maybe the next TC expedition is Topgolf Vegas.
Look,
Yeah.
Look, it was still cool, but yeah, compared to the Vegas one where they had the huge screens, like drive-in sized screens at the end of the range.
Yes.
So you're watching, and again, that's 250 yards away or whatever, and you watch the game or watch whatever you want on those screens. It was that kind of setup.
It gave you a target. You were like, I'm gonna bash the shit out of that screen that's 250 yards out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still was fun. We were there for Casey's birthday. It was still a good time.
I had a delicious hamburger. I'll say that. It was very good.
All right. Well, speaking of the expedition, I think we need to start doing some planning on that. Because,
Oh yeah, I want to talk to you guys about that.
Apparently, Jose wants to talk to us about that, which we'll do.
I think he wants to have it in that lot
Right now.
next to his house.
Yeah.
Well, I have a giant lot behind it.
That's
you know,
right.
we can
Guys,
do,
Guys, I have a great idea.
We should all roll up like on a Friday night. All roll up and camp right behind Jose's house in that
Ooh,
lot,
yes.
and have him wake up in the morning to all of us in our silky. What did he call? What did Jeff call those?
Silkies.
Oh, those
Silkies.
silkies, yeah.
On the barbecuing breakfast in the morning.
do you wear underwear with those?
I don't know.
I'm gonna say
My
no.
underwear would probably hang out the
Yeah,
bottom.
I think the
What do I
underwear
look
will be
like?
longer.
A silky scientist?
Yeah, I think the underwear are longer than the shorts.
Mm.
So it's no underwear then.
Okay, well, yeah, I'll trust you on that.
Commando
You're gonna
silkies.
see it. You're gonna trust me. You don't have to trust me. You're gonna see it.
I will.
Silky Commandos.
You're gonna see me in silkies and my ugly desert
Silky
shirt.
Commandos. They're playing Coachella this year.
I
side
think
stage.
my ugly desert shirt might be longer than the shirt.
No, seriously, on the Veteran Overland, one of the videos, and I think it's on one of the pages. They're doing cornhole, and there's a dude in. I didn't know they were called Silkies at the time, but Silkies in a tank top, and he's this big muscular tattoo dude, and I was like, he's pulling that off. He's totally pulling that off.
Tell him something. What are you gonna tell him? Excuse me, sir. I don't think you should be wearing those. Oh yeah.
Did you realize that those shorts were that short when you put them on?
Yes.
So anyways, that's it. Thank you again to Iron Man and Bear Valley Overland for participating and giving us the opportunity.
Adam clarified. They have liners, kind of like swimming shorts.
So
it keeps your
Adam,
sack.
Adam would know.
Adam would know.
Will you please bring your silkies to the next? I would
Adam, leave your silkies.
That way, Adam could bring his silkies, and then they can take turns wearing them, and we'll do a photo shoot. Anyways. Thanks to Bear Valley Overland and Iron Man. Thanks to Jeff from Veteran Overland for coming on the show and sharing the story. And thank you guys to everybody in the chat room. I appreciate it. It's been a lively chat room, a lot of fun tonight. I think we'll be back next week. Well, I'm just saying we don't have
Did
any.
you hear something?
No, I was just
happening
in my head thinking.
Should I leave Montana tonight or what?
Just thinking about the last couple of weeks, we've had a lot of stuff going on, and we've got nothing scheduled. So.
Except for the overnighter on Saturday.
Yeah, we will see you. We will talk to you guys next week.
Bye.